His government, during his administration, borrowed $8 trillion.
Harris says something, this other guy, he says, oh, it's all lies. And that's what Harris was doing also, but no one is getting babies aboard in the 8th or 9th month. And that's not abortion, that's assassination. Welcome back to Desi Vibes, folks. Let's get to the burning topics during September 10th US presidential debate. Starting with the economy, Trump says that the economy was the worst in nation's history at 21%. What is the truth about the economy and where it currently stands? Does anyone know? Let me start with a few metrics here. Starting with the economy of United States, Trump says that the economy was the worst during Biden's regime in the history of this nation, somewhere around 21%. I've also read that. But what is the truth about the economy and where it currently stands? That is the bigger question. Because all these data points, all these metrics, every channel has their own number. I personally try to go to Twitter and see what are the financial analysts talking about. But anyways, let me invite Shoran Rao here and see what is his take on it.
Thanks, Anshul. Hello, everyone. So whoever thinks that the president of a country, of especially the US, controls the gas prices, controls the economy, controls the prices of milk and bread, has no clue about how the US economy works. It's actually the Federal Reserve that controls the levers of the economy. Yes, there are some policies that the president can put in place, but by and large, they don't have a say. The inflation numbers that Trump was decrying about last night was because of something that was of his creation. His government, during his administration, borrowed $8 trillion. They spent over $8 trillion that the current administration has to pay back in deficit and debt. Inflation was the result of global supply chain being disrupted because of COVID and prices skyrocketing. It's a worldwide effect, right? Because of not just in the US. We know in India, it was a big topic during the Modi elections because of which Modi almost lost due to the prices of onions and tomatoes. So it's not just here in the US, but all across the world. So blaming the current administration for the economy being bad is a misnomer. Given all these outliers, the US actually has done very well in many areas. The stock market has been up much better than the Trump areas. The GDP is chugging along nicely at between 3 to 4%. Unemployment numbers are down, way down to around 3%. House prices are still at record levels. Inflation is slowing down. Just today, the report came out. It's at 2.5%. So basically, it's being controlled. Interest rates, while it's still up, but now Feds, seeing that the inflation is cooling off, they planning to bring down the interest rates again, making houses more affordable to the general public. But I'm sure my friend here, Arun Singh, will have on inflation and give his opinion about why he thinks that the economy is going to the dogs. What do you think? Hello, Arun. Welcome aboard. And what do you think about the economy?
So then, what we used to pay for the golf round before COVID? We used to pay like $35 in Carolina. And those courses have gone up to $95 to $110. Thank you very much, Sleepy Joe and Goofy Kamala. I understand. I would not argue with you on the all the 7 trillion in national debt. I would not argue on that. But let me tell you, the gas prices are low. You can buy commodities cheap. Everything was in line. And now it's just handout after handout. You know how much money Gavin Newsom has spent on COVID? $41 billion. Because you know why? They shut down the state. Look at down south in Florida. They did not shut down the state. They kept it running. They had a very small number. Look at North Carolina. It did not shut down. They're a very small number in aid. All these blue states just shut down the economy. Of course, the jobs go out. Then people have to come back and they hire them back and say, oh, we created new jobs. That's the biggest BS. You send everybody home and then you paid them a lot of money to stay home. And then you bring them back to work and say, we created this new job. That's the biggest baloney I've ever heard of. So right now, God help us, another term of Biden and Kamala Harris coming up.
And you don't remember the government handing out 1,600 checks for how many? 18 months non-stop. People wouldn't work because when they were working, they made less money than what the government was handing out during the COVID years. This was Trump's big plan. Don't forget that, Arun.
Yeah, because Dr. Fauci said, you got to stay home. Unless you're on a dating website, that's okay to make contact. But otherwise, you stay home.
Oh, now
so, you got crooked Fauci in China and his pockets, and then he's telling all these advisors, shut down, whole economy shut down. Look at Florida. That's a good example.
Florida is in
DeSantis did not shut down the whole state, left it open.
Deep trouble.
Look
Jobs
at
are
Texas.
leaving Florida
These
right now.
states did well. Look at New York, blue state. California, blue state. Oh, now the new vice president candidate, what's his name for Kamala? Walz.
Tim Walz.
He had a program, snitching on neighbor. If you're sitting on porch, call the police. They'll come and pick you out and put you in the jail. That's kind of the leftist government is going to be here in the U.S. This is not America anymore. This is all Marxist coming here, taking over this country.
I don't know what you're referring to about the policies in Minnesota, but Florida is floundering because of the fight with Disney.
It's the same state where, Kamala was actually paying money for the BLM riders to be taken out, to be bailed out. Same state.
This is MAGA conspiracy again. I don't know where you're getting your news from, Arun. This is completely MAGA conspiracy. But so you are saying all this, Biden has bought around this, inflated gas prices, inflated milk prices, and inflated bread prices. It's because of Biden?
Look at all the money that's going out for the Ukraine war. There's no checks and balance. Every time that, crooked Zelensky, that con man comes here, he takes billions of dollars. There is no checks and balance. The war is going on, funded by the deep state. They tell Joe Biden, sign here, because Joe obviously can't read more than 2 lines or, let alone speak a sentence. So they're just signing away all our tax earned dollars, going for the Hamas war, is going to Ukraine. There's no stoppage. We left $85 billion worth of equipment in Afghanistan, state of the art. And where do you think that money comes from? That's from our taxpayers' money. That's just being totally just blown away. It's like a Christmas every day.
Speaking of Afghanistan, Trump promised that he would bring the troops back in Afghanistan. Who got it done? Joe Biden, right? May not have been clean, may have had his problems, but he got it done. Yes, there was money that was left.
But he started that whole conversation. He got the document going in Qatar. It was all there. And, he did not come back in the office. So these deals don't happen just in one day. Not like, going into dealership, try to buying a car and
he had 4 years. What did he do in the 4 years? Like the question he asked Kamala, right? What did he do in the 4 years and did not finish the Afghanistan war? Talk is cheap, Arun. Talk is really cheap. He can talk.
He's the only one who ended wars. What are you talking about? This only president that ended wars.
Which war? Can you tell me one?
He's the only president for U.S. did not start a war. He ended wars.
Which war?
Look in the history.
Which war are you talking about?
He did not start any war.
Yeah, but which war did he end?
I mean, he brought people back from the Iraq area, Syria. He started the discussion for the Afghanistan pullout. So he did everything to finish the wars. He did not start one war.
But let me chime in. Shorin, I think one thing is very clear, and everyone agrees with this, whether it is Republicans or Democrats. Trump was the only president in whose regime not a single war occurred. Not a single one. All the previous presidents in their regime, there was a war. You ask anyone at Washington, D.C., at Capitol Hill, they'll agree with it.
Yeah, but then which war occurred in the past 4 years? The Hamas war is because of the crazy people, Hamas people, right? Biden didn't go to instigate Hamas in any way. He did not instigate any war. And these things have happened. There have been skirmishes in the China seas during Trump's time as well. So these are geopolitical actions.
Who's funding left and right to Ukraine? Is it Biden or Trump?
That is after Putin invaded invaded Ukraine.
And Putin was not scared of Biden because he knew if he invaded during the daytime, chances are Biden would be asleep at 2 p.m.
This is utter nonsense. Okay, so basically, Putin had invaded Crimea as well, right? That was during George W. Bush's time. So this is what Putin does. He will get into Poland next, and if Trump is the president, there won't be any NATO. He'll take all of Europe. That's what he wants because Russia is a dwindling economy. There is no way for him to sell his oil to anybody else. So this is what he has to do, just take over countries. Okay, so that was quite heated about the economy. Hopefully, we will be more moderate in the next topic that we are going to bring up, which was also hotly debated last night, which was abortion. And this one, I take it very, very personally. In fact, people who have daughters, wives, who have daughters-in-laws or friends who are women, the fact that Roe v. Wade was rescinded last year, it was settled law and the Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade, and women do not have the power to decide what to do with their own bodies. God forbid if if anybody we know in our circle needs an abortion for medical reason, for health reason, for financial reason, whatever reason, just imagine they have to travel outside their state to get this abortion done, and it is not provided by their own state. And when Trump comes into power, it will become a national law. So this is a big disservice that they are doing to the women of the country, and the Republicans are pushing their religious agenda. This is so backwards. Even Italy, which is where the Vatican is, where the Pope sits, that allows abortion. It's legalized. India has allowed for legal abortion for I don't know how many tens of years, ever since independence, I think. But that's because of population reasons. Here, because of religious reasons, women don't have control over their own bodies. How asinine and how backward looking is that? Anshul, I'll first go to you for your take on this.
So, Sharon, thanks for bringing this up. I do understand that the abortion landscape has become highly fractured, with some states implementing abortion bans and restrictions and other increasing protections, right? So, but before we talk about that, so at the forefront, I abide with Kamala Harris. That should be the decision of a girl, a woman, a lady, and she should be making a decision on that. That is for sure. But if I look at the statistics, most abortion patients are there in 20s. Like 61% of the abortions happens with females who are in their 20s. And out of that, Black or Latino are 59% of that. And then there are various different statistics on the low income. And another statistics is like 73% of them are in between 6 and 12 weeks. And they are unmarried also. But to answer your question and to answer Kamala Harris thing supporting her, I think this should be a prerogative of the females. And they should be making a decision, and it should not be banned and never be banned. That's what I can say.
So where were you going with the age, 20 to 30 year? Where were you going with that, Anshul?
No, but what I was trying to say over here is, like, when Trump was talking about abortion, he was talking about, hey, I cannot allow abortion in the 8th or 9th month. No one is getting babies abort in the 8th or 9th month. And that's not abortion. That's assassination.
In fact, infanticide.
Yeah. So these are the numbers what are apparent, which are visible all over the internet and Twitters. And what I was trying to mention out here, Sharon, was that there is a considerable amount of population, obviously in females, who need to make a decision. And like I heard for the first time in yesterday's debate, these girls who want to get aborted, they are moving from state to state to get it done. That's the issue over here.
Thanks, Arun. Your take on this entire abortion issue?
That's just my personal view. Abortion topic, I don't think it's Democrat Party's decision or Republican. It's a human party. Let the ladies decide what needs to be done. That should be taken away from politics, regardless of which side are you. And us men have no business. We need to get out of the kitchen. Absolutely, we have no right to even talk about on this topic. Let the ladies decide. They're smart enough. They can figure this out. Leave it up to them to decide what needs to be done. And us men, we need to get the hell out of this conversation.
Then why don't you convince your party, right, to do the right thing? And in Project 2025, it's written in bold this will become a national law.
I disagree with that. I am not. See, that's the difference between the Republican Party and the Democrat Party. You can call out the issues that are not right, and I'll admit that. But the Democrats will never admit to anything. On this point, I am 100% against Republican. This is not a man's decision. Let the ladies decide. They can do that for themselves.
Okay, so at least we agree on this common ground. Like Anshul said, there were several false things that Trump pushed yesterday as well, saying that, the babies, they can abort it as late as 9 months into their pregnancies. Nobody does that. Yeah, it doesn't happen. That, and the moderator corrected Trump immediately as well, that nobody goes that late into the pregnancy, to get an abortion. But this, I think, is going to be a very critical issue in this election. And if you saw, or if you heard it very closely yesterday, they tried to pin Trump on asking him the question that will you veto a national ban on abortion, and he did not answer the question. Yeah. So that means he's in favor of a national ban, because he wouldn't answer the question that I will veto a national ban. ban. So basically, he still favors it. So if he wins, then God save the women, right? On this abortion issue.
So, Shorin, I have a question out here. We are almost at the end of this episode. Whatever happened last night between Donald Trump and Harris, I didn't see anything alarming or surprising. I did not, because that's the way the two politicians come on a debate. If Harris says something, this other guy, he says, oh, it's all lies. And that's what Harris was doing also, whatever Trump was saying. Same thing, we see it in India also. We are, all three of us from India. When Modi talks, Rahul Gandhi says the same thing or vice versa. So I think in a nutshell, this is the way the politics has run. And number two, which I have a very strong sentiment about it, one of the media guys about 10 years back, they told me, he was a senior guy in the media, he said, the biggest fools in our country are the people, because they say only what we feed them. I'm just sharing what I heard from this very senior guy in the news media. He shared that with me.
True. That's very true. And it's up to all of us to educate
Correct.
ourselves
Correct.
about
Correct.
the facts.
Correct.
You do your own research.
It could not be us, because we've been in the media for less than 1 year now.
Yeah, it can't be us, right? It would be nice to listen to us.
So anyways.
So this was interesting topics, but we have several in the pipeline, which we'll discuss it on our next episode, things like immigration, guns, and the other, but we don't have much time on this. So I'll leave it up to my good friend Arun to do the wrap up for this one. Arun, take it away.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, folks. Thank you for listening to us. And please look at that button down below, hit that subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you can get new episodes as we come out. So we need your support. Please support us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.